And we are live, so just so you know, sound and audio are on right, or audio and video are on right now.
So start cursing? All right.
Okay. Estella is not going to be here this evening, so Christopher is going to sub because I don't think that we elected a vice chair
I don't remember.
because we're so small. So
Right.
yeah, Christopher's gonna help us run the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
He's got
Take it away.
And I think it'll mostly be Chelsea walking us through stuff anyway. So, okay, it is 5:36 p.m. on Thursday, May 28th. This is a meeting of the City of Philomath Public Art Committee that I'm calling to order. We will start with roll call / introductions if we just want to go around and introduce ourselves. I'm Christopher McMorran, Mayor of Philomath and the City Council liaison to the committee.
Andy Garcia.
Jen Edwards.
Nina Petrovich.
And Chelsea Starner with the city.
Okay. So our business for today, we have the continuing review of the public art plan, which we started a while back and then are returning to, and I hope you'll note on Chelsea's memo, starting on section 4 today. And then after that, getting just a quick update, status update on the downtown temporary art program, and any other sort of discussion that might come about with that. And then we'll talk about our next meeting. So with that, Chelsea, do you want to kick us off on the public art plan discussion?
Yes, so the last time we discussed the art plan, we went through sections 1 through 3. And there was a comment about the first paragraph being very wordy. So that's been modified a little bit with some of the feedback that we got. So you'll see that on page 3 of the packet. Page 4 of the packet, there was some additional language that was requested to be added to the kind of carrying out the actions of the plan section. So that has been added. And so first I'll start with I know it was a while ago, but was there anything else in those sections 1 through 3 that anyone has come up with since then or felt like they did not get represented in our first review?
No.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I know that we want to be efficient. I don't know that we need to go through line by line, but I wonder what would be the most helpful for you all. Do you want to go just say page by page? Do you want me to say, is there anything on page 5, 6? How do you?
I've read it. I read
this?
the email.
Yeah.
I've been reading what I have right here.
Okay.
Because you gave it to me.
Okay. So we can kind of go through I'll just kind of read through this section really quick, but not go in depth. And then if there's anything that anyone has to add or comment on or wants to kind of pull out and discuss, just flag me down. We don't have to be super formal about it. And I definitely don't want to read it word for word for everyone.
Yeah.
Because I know that you're all very capable of doing that. Okay, so we're in the section for acquisition of artwork. And this is defining some criteria to be considered when we're acquisitioning art pieces. So the first section is required conditions. And so there's 6 required conditions there. And we'll just start with that if anyone has comments or thoughts on the required criteria to be met.
Well, that's already sort of what drove the previous decisions, wasn't it?
Yes, we kind of use this as a tool, but it can definitely be changed at this point. We obviously were just using what we had at that time, but that doesn't mean that we can't.
Got it. Okay.
Can't change this. This is definitely in a draft format where we can change things. So if there's, and in the document, there may be something in that process that you felt like, we really wish we could have done this, or that was really great. Let's add some additions to that. We can talk about it. And I don't want to rush anyone, so we can go through it. If we get through the whole thing and we feel great, great. We should give the other members a chance to submit if they have anything written, maybe that they want to submit. And then we will definitely come back at the end with all the changes that are in it and kind of hit on those changes and make sure there's nothing else that anyone wants to add or remove. We're not in a hurry. We just want it to be a good working document.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything in those
I thought
sections?
these work well for the selection criteria.
Okay.
So that, you know, since it's been in practice already, I haven't seen anything.
Okay. In that section, okay.
Yeah, I would like to bring up, it's kind of, it may be one of the things that we talked about a little bit, waiting till this phase to do, I think, was talk about sort of more quantitative guidelines for what makes something appropriate to Philomath, like cultural context of art in Philomath, to kind of have it be speak to the identity of the community at large. And so I'm not sure where it would fit in, but I would love to add, one of my thoughts on it is starting with maybe the kind of the city, is there a city mission goals?
We have a mission statement.
mission
It's not
statement.
on the wall anymore. But we do have a mission statement. Do you know that by heart, Mayor McMorrin? The Philomath mission statement? It's pretty utilitarian.
Okay.
I will say it has not been updated for quite a while.
Talking, but he's-
Oh, you're muted.
The City of Philomath's mission is to provide ethical and responsive municipal government which provides its citizenry with high-quality municipal services in an efficient and cost-effective manner. So if you're not inspired reading that, I don't know what will, you know?
Well, I guess I'm thinking more of like, we had some early discussions about what culturally is Philomath about. And I don't know, maybe the 2050 process is gonna call that out a little better, but maybe we can, in terms of art, that we want to represent the community. One of the things that we had said was represent our natural features. And reflect the history and the culture of the indigenous history, and also the more pioneer history of the community. And so I wonder if we could develop a selection criteria around Philomath's identity. I'm not sure what to call it, is why I'm like not super clear right now. Not sure what to call it.
Can brainstorm that.
Yeah.
Would you want to put that, I mean, obviously, there will be some pieces that probably fall outside of that where we, just have a random piece that we're getting donated or something. Would we want to put that under like the desired attributes, or would we want to put it as maybe like a guiding principle? Like, this is not something that you absolutely have to adhere to.
Guiding principle is
time.
probably
Yeah.
Guiding principles probably suits best. And I think I would like to see it in a rubric, though, weight
Okay.
is higher if they
Fall within that.
fall within that.
Okay.
Because I do believe that we want to focus the artwork that we display in our small community to things that artwork that represents the community. I see that when I travel and go to smaller communities that there's an identity to the artwork, and I would love to see that reflected here. So even though there may be a kind of a piece that is submitted that falls outside, I think we do want to. Well, it's an interest of mine to see that I guess I'll speak for myself and not the committee, but to see that it reflects the culture or is local, or a local artist. If it's something different, but it's a local artist.
Okay. How does
I'll
everyone?
just Can I
Go
just
ahead.
note for the record that Lori arrived at 5:44 PM? Sorry.
Thank you for
Continue.
noting that for the record. How do others feel about kind of an idea for even adding
Can
it?
you repeat it for Lori? Or should I try
yes.
to, do you want to try to summarize what I was?
I'll let you summarize it.
Okay.
You did a good job of summarizing it.
Lori, we were just at kind of section 4 in the document about acquisition of artwork, and I brought up that the topic of adding selection criteria, not sure what it would, how we would frame it or qualify it. If it wouldn't necessarily be a required condition, it would maybe be a guiding principle. It maybe is under desired attributes, but some conditions that we establish as a committee that help us kind of direct submissions of an acquisition of artwork to reflect the identity of the community, to reflect the things we talked about before was reflecting the natural features of the community, our indigenous history and our pioneer history and our kind of industry, like timber industry. So that's where we are. I wonder what you think about it too. There may be other components.
Are
No,
you?
that sounds fantastic. So do we already have somewhat of a rubric? Or is that what you're talking about, is establishing a rubric?
We have one that we started with for our sculpture project, but that was just what we were doing in the interim between having more of this planned to utilize.
I think my only comment on that would be to make sure that if we are looking at the pioneer history and the logging history, that we're still respecting the indigenous history first.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, that's why I brought it up first.
well,
Yes.
because of the fact that
I
there's
was
some
clear.
pioneer history that does not respect the indigenous history. So we want to make sure that we're not overlapping and disrespecting at the same time.
Gotcha, yeah. Are you willing and able to submit some, like a draft
Sure.
language for the desired attribute section? Okay, if you email that to me, then I will just put it in the draft. That way I don't have to try to word for word transcribe what you
Yes.
have. And then when we come with the draft back, it'll be in there. You can, I'll discuss it, see if you want to tweak the language, see if it
Okay.
kind of meets
Great.
your general consensus needs. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments for the desired attribute section? So these would be things that we will be scoring off of in the future when we're doing scoring, or just sometimes we may not be doing scoring. We might have something that presents itself to us that we want to consider, but we would look at these things when we're reviewing that piece or proposed piece. And again, Lori, you popped in just a little bit late, but I did say if there's anything along the way that you want to submit in writing, that is fine. I can put it in the packet or put those notes in the draft to discuss when we have our upcoming meetings. So we're not trying to rush through the plan here. Okay.
Can I?
I was just gonna say, just to clarify, when you're talking about the desired attributes, is that which list are you looking at for that?
Page 6, it starts on page 6 of the packet, 5 of 18 on the plan.
Okay, the required conditions. Oh, no, I see design. Sorry, okay, I just
Sure.
didn't go down far enough. Thank you.
May I step back to the as part of the required conditions, number 3 reflects public aesthetics. And I like this statement about how art is, should not be rejected simply because it's controversial. I would like to add a statement in here in this paragraph, something akin to, however, the committee will make an effort to ensure no public art conveys hate speech or imagery. To specifically state that although, the vision art can be intrusive, abrasive, or unpopular, however, we will not welcome something like that. We will not welcome hate speech or imagery in a public display.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to submit that for
Okay,
me, I can add that in too, and then you can look at it next time in the context of, and if you have a certain place that you think that it fits, just let me know between
Okay.
1, 3, 4. Yeah, that one obviously was in free, but for other comments that you have.
Can I just ask, I agree with that we shouldn't do that. I'm just wondering if we need to put that in the plan, because I just don't know any time that a city program would do that. So just, I don't know if we need to specifically call that out, I guess. I'm not opposed to it. Or maybe that's a Chelsea question too, of just like, I'm assuming we would run into some legal issues if we did that anyway.
well, the school district adopted that wording, that exact wording around allowing, students to wear their own, identifying First Amendment speech is allowed, except for hate speech and imagery. It's not allowed on school property, for example. And I just think since we explicitly state that one of the purposes of art is to show people a new way of looking at their environment, to share an artist's sometimes iconoclastic vision, art can legitimately be intrusive, abrasive, or unpopular. Like that to me opens the doorway to allowing potentially harmful content under the umbrella of artistic license. And I just want it to be clear that while we're going to allow artistic license, we're not going to invite or include, you will, or include.
I understand what you're saying, and I do think in that context, it
It
wouldn't hurt to have it in there because when you are, say, scoring someone's art piece or people come back, and people come back for all kinds of things,
They
right?
do. They could say, you never said.
Hire people,
Yeah.
if you're not clear, sometimes they can say, well, you never said that we couldn't do this, and now you're, saying that you love my piece if not for that, and you would have selected it if not for that. So we'll put it in there and then let you all read it in the context of the document and see how you feel about it. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Alternatively, take that previous sentence out, that it can be
Okay.
legitimately intrusive, abrasive, or unpopular, because I feel like that invites it.
Yeah. Yeah, how do
That's how I read it.
is there a preference over that to either add the language about hate speech or just removing that last, I guess it's the last that sentence, the art, that sentence, is that what you're looking to remove? Art can legitimately be
Mhm.
intrusive.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that? Pros or cons?
I guess
Preference.
my first instinct, instead of adding something to that paragraph, would be to just remove some of that paragraph. I feel like we're kind of getting in the weeds a little bit. To me, I like just saying that we reserve the right to not select pieces or projects which we deem do not represent the values of the community. Kind of that sums up a little bit of what we're talking about. I don't know if we need to opine on the nature of artistic
Yeah, I
expression in
agree.
that
I just was
paragraph
reading
too.
that and thought the same thing, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
Because
okay
I
with
guess
that sentence.
especially around things like hate speech, or hate speech means different things to different people. And I would rather just not get into that in the document and just say that the committee reserves the right to not select projects if they don't align with the values of the community. And the values of the community can change over time. I'm not talking about hate speech, but just the identity of a community and the values can change over time. And I feel like to me, that makes more sense, but I don't have strong feelings either way.
I think that covers,
Maybe.
it covers it all.
Okay, well, we'll look at that. It'll be a strike through, so
Okay.
If you change your minds next time you discuss it, we'll talk about that. I can see why this language was put in some communities, because I've experienced this myself before, where There can be a strong bias for art pieces that are deemed pretty, safe, feel good, and then when an art piece comes up that is, thought-provoking, maybe doesn't fit in the way that some people would generally think. And I think that's why the language was in the art plan that we took this from. And they may have had issues with that where they were just making sure that, maybe they were using this to tell the body that that the approval was going to, that this isn't our plan and this is what we're looking at. But, the plan can always be amended. If we find that we're having issue with that, we can, pull it out and dust it off. So, okay. Anything else in that section for anyone? No? Okay. All right, so we were into desired attributes. I think we're now into method of acquisition. I do want to note that we have someone in the audience. Is the person in the audience here to comment on anything or participate in anything?
Well, I was gonna make a comment, but you guys are deep in your,
Okay.
in agenda item
Okay,
1, so I don't want to interrupt the
Okay.
conversation.
okay. Will you flag us down if you feel
I
like
can,
you?
I can reserve my comments
We'll
for,
see if the,
if you don't. really-
okay, we'll see if the committee will entertain your public comment, which I'm sure that they will. Okay, yeah. Methods of acquisition. So this, obviously, some of this is kind of public process for going through procurement-related things. It gives us several options. So if we say we really know what we're looking for. We're looking for a mural. We know that there's 5 artists in the general community area that are really interested. We know what we want. We might just put out a request for proposal because we're just going to start there and not go through the qualifications. If we are unsure what's out there, who's going to respond, sometimes we would do the request for qualification process and then kind of create a smaller pool and select from those to go forward with proposals. So I think those are both good to have in our document. I can't really see us doing, yeah, I think that covers the open competition.
I mean, I guess my one question would be, you even said methods of acquisition, well, it's assessing versus, what do we want to change it to acquisition?
Oh yeah. Sessioned acquisition.
Yeah, they
There
never
also
actually
is
say
acquisition section.
acquisition. We just want to change the language and,
Well, I said that because I didn't have my reading. This is real, so.
but I think but acquisition seems more approachable.
Okay.
Throughout, it says accessioning though.
Again, that came
And
from,
de-accessioning.
would you like acquisition better? Yes,
I
makes
think
more
it
sense.
makes more sense and is,
Any strong opposition to that online? Okay. Change this to this. Okay.
you can just do Control F and go through
Yep.
and see where it is.
Okay. All right. That's okay. And then we follow up with invitational competition. Sometimes we will do that. As long as we're within our purchasing requirements for the city, we can do some of that. I think it's good to have it in there. I think it's important to try to have a public process where more people are able to submit whenever possible. Even if we have the ability to kind of do direct purchase or direct award, but there may be things that come up where we want to do that. So let's say one of these art pieces downtown would be an example where they were down here and we had X amount of dollars that we could purchase a piece. And we said, we already went through the whole process to have these pieces here. We know that we like them. We know the council likes them. We would like to recommend just direct purchasing that. So I think it's good to also have that option in there.
Mhm.
Any other thoughts on those sections or that
I have a
section?
question on this section, the invitational competition.
Mhm.
What are there rules in the city around businesses in terms of whether they are allowed to display in terms of artwork on their facade or in front of their buildings? Like,
We have some sign code that is related to signs. But you do encroach kind of in rights of the property owner for some things, so
I
it's
was
kinda
wondering
complex, yeah.
if we needed to add a section for business owners, if a private business, was requesting to put up a particular, a piece of art or a mural, on display, if that needs to meet the criteria of this public art plan, or if we want to invite,
Yeah.
It's their property.
as I suppose if they wanted support from the city, then they would come under the purview of this.
Sure, like
That
if
they
there were a building that, say someone came forward and said, we'd really love to do a mural on this building, for instance, I don't know if that could ever happen, but if that happened and the business approached that, then yes, if we were trying to say, city council, we would like to spend some city dollars to help with this art project, that in that case, it would kind of fall under more of the criteria here. If
Otherwise, it
someone
doesn't
were to put something on, the even flow building on their alley, that's different. But yes, if they were coming forward, that it would fall under the criteria of this if they're asking for it to be a public art piece on their building.
Yeah,
Any
I
other
think,
thoughts on that?
well, I was just gonna say, like, there's no specific public art like ordinance for private businesses. They would just have to follow all the other things around, like, we have building codes and sort of zoning restrictions on different types of, we have requirements on different types of materials you have to use, and, you can't have flashing lights along the highway, and, so just all those little things that they would have to navigate if they want, you can't have like profanity or something, but there's nothing specific to like having a mural. I think if the council wanted to, you could add something in city code around that. I just don't think there would be a huge appetite for regulating that.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible, so under the art plan that we have, that's a possibility.
I
for
suppose
something
like under this individual competition, if they came forward.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Anything else on page 8 of the packet?
I guess, can I I do think it's maybe worth, and I don't know where it would go in this public art plan, but just like, because I could also see a world where, maybe there is a private business owner or something who would like a mural or something, and whether or not they want the city to spend money on it, maybe they even just want the committee to be the ones who kind of do the legwork on selecting an artist. And, is there a way to kind of allow private individuals or businesses to kind of like submit a facility for art?
Like a request, basically.
Yeah, so like, hey, if you want to put some on my back wall, you can, or hey, if you want to put some sculpture in my, in the front, like, sure, kind of thing. I don't know. That might be a whole separate conversation, but
Okay. Right.
It could be proposed that it rewrite the Main Street facade grant, matching grant, where people wanted to, instead of like getting money to paint their building and put the lights on, it could also be like, there would be like a matching of like, I'll provide a wall as part of a larger city mural project, and that would be like their match.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a cool idea.
For people who aren't accessing the funds now,
Mm-hmm.
because the match is hard.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right, great. Placement of works of art. I think that's just a statement to the artist. Okay, section 5, donations of art. I think we obviously want to have a section that allows for donations of art, but has a little bit of criteria for that so that we don't end up with,
Warehouse.
we just dropped off a sculpture on the,
Yeah.
city hall steps and we have nowhere to put it and we can't maintain it.
We're not your art Goodwill.
Right, exactly. Does anyone have any comments on that section? I think it's kind of generally talking about how it does have funding. I guess my only comment would be that that it doesn't leave things open to work with the city. So if, let's say that someone did want to donate the art, you could say we've included funding, the city's going to do it, but I guess that I would suggest adding some sort of a statement there that a donated piece may be a collaborative project with the city, potentially. Because the way that it reads is kind of like, if you're going to come forward with a donation, you have to have all of those things figured out before you approach the city. And I think that
Right.
that doesn't really leave much room for approaching the city to see if it would fit inside current art plans and goals. And so I could see us adding a little bit more language to that.
Yeah, I like that thought. And I had so in that first section, before commissioned, are you talking about the last paragraph of, or
Yeah.
the 3 paragraphs of the intro into donations of art?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that idea of adding something about having it be a kind of a discussion and a joint project. Because I was curious that, going further a little more, that when someone donates, we're asking them to also make a contribution to the maintenance fund. Is that correct? So someone with a donation comes in with a donation plus money to
Right.
fund the care of it.
Right. Yeah, and I think this could read more as a like considerations. So if someone came forward to the art committee, that these would be considerations, not that you have to have this in order to even come forward. Because obviously you're going to make a recommendation to the city council and the city council is going to say, well, how are we maintaining this? Who's paying for this? Well, we don't know. They
Right.
came and we liked the art piece and we said, we'd love to have it. So we could kind of break it down a little bit more rather than, but the way it reads to me is a little bit like, we would love to have donations, but don't bring donations forward unless you have a donation and you have a lot, cash, time to come maintain it.
Yeah.
And I think that should be more of a discussion, because if someone's going to donate a $20,000 piece of art to us that we don't have funds to purchase, perhaps we would look and see if we have funds to install it and maintain it, so I would suggest that.
I would take it free, Julie.
Okay, well, I will see if I can find some language to add to that. That's along those lines, or fix that a little bit. Okay. Are we good? Still everyone good to move forward? Okay. We're on page 9 of the packet under commissioned works of art, which is under the donation section. And that's kind of where you were talking about,
That is,
yeah, the budget.
Yeah, particularly if like the business owner came in with a artist identified and does not want it to go to RFP,
Yeah. I think what might be helpful is just knowing, like, obviously there's a balance. We couldn't, even if we had 10 people come forward right now and say, here's all of this art. We couldn't right now say, we can install all of that, we can maintain all of that. But I still think that maybe the language could be softened a little bit. I feel what I don't want to do is make it difficult to
Right.
be flexible.
Yeah,
Like you want it to be
Exactly.
clear, but you still want to allow some flexibility.
yes, I think I was feeling that, that
Okay.
we needed to allow for other forms
Right.
of,
Okay. If anyone has comments on this section and would like to email them,
okay,
I would appreciate it, but I'll also take a look at it and see if I can kind of go through it with that lens. Again, we pulled this draft plan from a city that's had a plan for a long time and has a really a smaller community, has a successful public art program. But, not every community is the same. Maybe we're naive and they've been doing it for a long time and they've firmed this up because
Yeah.
they've had issues. I don't know, but I feel like just starting out, it feels a little rigid. I don't want it to be too rigid. Because there is another approval process, which is the city council, so that's the other side of it, is it becomes more difficult for you to convey. But we really wanted this piece, and then the council's saying, well, here are the criteria. We appreciate this, but you don't match here, so I want to try to avoid that happening, if at all possible.
yeah, development of goals for the selection. Identify the goals of the art project. Initiating any public art project, we will identify the goals. It's a little confusing. This is specifically around the donation, is it?
Yeah, it says commissioned works of art or commission. Commissioned
But
in,
in this, yeah. But it's donation, oh, but that's a donation. Yeah,
they're all donations, different types of donations.
yeah,
Commissioned works, existing work.
I see.
I mean, I think the concept is good. I think I'm going to look through it myself and just see if it feels like it's gonna be clunky or hang things up in the process that you're all
Yeah.
trying to do. Okay,
I think, and that this, going back to commission, because you brought it, I didn't say it at first, but this example of Dornbrecher's is a little awkwardly written. I had a hard time, it's not making a lot of sense to me.
okay.
It's not very clear about what
I
that
can make a clear
commissioned
example or something that's more,
nipple is, yeah.
a little more like Philomena.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, any other page 9 comments? Okay, I'll bring back some things for you.
Okay.
Page 10, we just kind of continued through that section that was previous for acceptance of donation process. And I think, again, this will just be part of what I go through. It's all connected. I think there's value in what is here. I just want to make sure that it's not going to keep you from
Yeah.
accepting a donated piece of art. Okay.
I was
I do
just-
have exceptions. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just curious, I don't know, was this an insurance thing or what the 10-month limit on the artworks or exhibitions loaned for display on city-owned property? That just seemed like kind of a random limit.
What, like, where is that?
on
Exceptions to the use process number 2.
Yeah,
City Department jurisdiction over the site of the display. I'm guessing that was just we probably don't need that because
Okay.
we're probably just it's going to all be Public Works probably.
yeah, right, okay.
They're watching this meeting and hearing me say that, I know, I'm sorry. But I think it's probably wherever it came from, it was saying, look, if you're the library and you have this piece there for 6 months, you're dealing with that. We're not going to have our
Sure,
art people that come out and do it. It has to be there longer for us to take responsibility for it. So
Yeah,
I don't
guess-
think that we need that.
Okay, I mean, we don't need it then. I was just 10 months felt like a rant, like, why not just say a year or something? But yeah,
Okay. Okay, and I also, I will look at this, the number one,
yeah.
and check
I
that
was,
if there's some kind of a legal
and I was
reason
curious
that.
about that too. All right.
Okay. All right. See, we're finding things in here.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, acceptance of gifts of public art. That's a pretty short section. But
I
those
don't
are-
know how, I've never bought a expensive piece of art, believe it or not. I guess, is it common that they would all have a bill of sale or title for something like that?
I mean, well, what if you have something that's old,
Yeah.
that's been in your family forever?
Right, I guess that's kind of what it
Like you would have a bill of sale for that, but if it were
Okay.
something newer, I think obviously we want to make sure that we're not receiving stolen art. It can't
Yeah, yeah.
this language is there. Yeah, and generally, this is going to be a plan that the art committee is using, and then the council is using to check that the art committee is doing what they need to do. This doesn't have to be what we put, like, if we're putting out information to the public, say, about accepting gifts, it doesn't have to be, it's not going to be this technical. But I'm guessing that's what the language is there for, is just,
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know that we would get that with every piece, so maybe there's an additional language that could be in there.
I guess,
Any thoughts from the artists that are
yeah.
present?
I guess just that whole section, kind of, I think agrees with your assertion that it seems like we're trying to not accept donations. Like, I get
Yeah.
why all this stuff is in there, but I'm imagining, like, if I have, if my grandma dies and she had this beautiful sculpture in her backyard and I'm like, oh, I should give this to the city. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, just make sure you provide a maintenance and conservation report prepared with the assistance of a professional art conservator first. I'm like, all right,
Right.
screw you guys. I'm not going to give it to you now. Like, I'll just sell it on eBay or something. And I don't know. I guess I'm just a little worried about, like, scaring off people who are just trying to kind of, do a good thing. But
What I think might be more valuable is just a statement that says, anyone who is donating art will be required to sign a statement declaring XYZ, that they have permission, and we can put that in there so that it
sure.
leaves more flexibility, but we can, that can be in, when we're receiving, we have attorneys, our attorneys are gonna tell us exactly what we have to put in it anyway, and it's probably going to be something like that. So I
Yeah.
think that might be better use of that space, is to just put language that says that we will be adding that to any documentation with donations and gifts. Okay. So let's kind of cut that. Okay. All right, same title and ownership again, it's kind of the same, so I think just these sections right here can be combined a little bit. Just to make sure that they are saying that they're allowed to sell it to us. We can suggest that if they have a bill of sale, that we would like to have a copy of the bill of sale. Or that they, it could be something like on the agreement, it would say, you must provide a bill of sale or a statement, something. So I want to make sure that we're not,
Yeah, because I think, because I have
narrow.
artwork in my house that my
Yeah,
mom did. I'm like,
right.
I don't know, Bill Silver.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so process for artwork. I think this is, unless you have other language you'd like to add, it's just kind of stating that we obviously need to be responsible. You're not gonna meet as the art committee and say, hey, let's suggest to the council that we purchase $500,000 worth of art today, when you know that we don't have a budget. you're probably, the staff, hopefully, whoever's staffing this would tell you that's not gonna work, but I think that's kind of there. So confirming the project budget, I do think this is it's important for the art committee to know and connect these things. We do this with the park board, so we try to make sure that they are aware of budgeting that happens during the year and what's being budgeted for park projects. And I think this committee, it will be the same, is that we want to make sure that you are helping to think about our budgeting process, making recommendations to the city council, strategic plan recommendations. Do you have any comments there of anything that you saw that you would like to see changed?
I just had a comment about, whether it would be open for if somebody came in, business owner came in with a kind of commissioned piece and wants the partnership with the city to display it, like, is there room for that? Does this prohibit that? I wouldn't want it to prohibit that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good comments. Okay, page 11, do we want, so we're at 6:22 right now. I'm just doing a time check. Our temporary art program update will not take a whole lot of time. It's pretty brief. Do we want to continue on? We're on page 10 of 18. I don't think we're gonna get through it. We want to keep our brains about us, but
Yeah, we can invite our guests to speak.
sure. Maybe we'll finish this section. We're almost to the end. On page 12 is the end of this section.
Yeah.
So we have the artist selection criteria. We did just kind of go through some of this.
Right, so that is, I guess that's related to that. If somebody comes in already with an artist, we want to allow that.
Okay,
Or have another category where that's allowable, maybe.
okay.
Particularly if it's, maybe we don't, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
a question.
Okay, and if you, do you have
Particularly if it's
some
local.
language or thoughts that you could email me to for that section?
I'll try to come up with something.
Okay, and it doesn't have to be full, it can just
Yeah.
be,
Okay,
here's the idea, let's look at it in this section. It'll give people kind of time to think of things before next meeting. Balance of local and non-local artists, we love local artists. We also want to make sure that we're leaving it open and not putting ourselves in a box of these pieces are local, but they have nothing to do with what we want.
Right.
So we want to make sure that sometimes it might be that the non-local artists are, the ones. I think that we can always kind of select, I think different pieces will warrant different locality or familiarity with locality. So we did that with our art pieces downtown. We wanted to make sure that, because it was going to be kind of some natural environment art, we wanted to make sure that people understood this natural environment and we're not trying to work with us from Georgia. And we know all about the flora and fauna that is here in Philomath.
right.
So I think that we still have the ability to do that per selection process, so.
Yeah, like especially if we have themes or those guiding principles of
Right.
identity.
Yes. The contractual language, I'm gonna look at that and make sure that actually fits with our contractual language that we ended up with. I'll update on the next one, but we do have a contract currently, but obviously may need updated depending on what the piece is and where it is. Like this, we actually on these pieces offer to cover the pieces. But I think we're gonna have a variety of that. Sometimes I think the artist will cover it, sometimes I think we may cover it, it just depends. It is obviously a cost to the city, and I think we're balancing for this project because it was temporary. It just seemed like, that we would just kind of cover it and get it going, but yeah, again, I'll check that just to make sure that it kind of follows with the process that we're currently using. Okay. All right. So I think that's a good stopping place unless anyone else has something that they particularly want to put out there.
I think that
And
sounds good.
if you have anything written for any part of the document, you can email it to me, like I said, and I will just incorporate it for your next draft review.
Great.
Were we going to
Um,
take a question from the public, from someone in the audience?
Yes.
I think ready to move on and it's the committee. What? Yes, it sounds like you've got consensus on that. Could you please state your name and where you are
Hi,
hailing from?
I am Sarah Lynch. I am the Executive Director of Maxtivity Creative Space for Community Arts. And I just wanted to pop in and share a little bit, give an update on things that we're involved with here in the community that I want the Public Art Committee to sort of be thinking about how you're part of Small Town Big Arts Philomath, that there's ways for this community to be connected to that work, and then also just sort of some things for you all to consider as you build out your plan and put it into specifics. So the first part is going to start with this room. So Chris Workman asked Maxtivity, we're a nonprofit community art studio just up the street, and I'm looking at you too because everyone else knows me. Hi. And Chris Workman asked back in November if Maxtivity would be interested in helping to turn the council room into a small art gallery. And we're finally going to make that happen. And our first exhibit is going to probably be hung in late August to promote the Philomath Open Studios tour. And we're going to be supported by the Teen Art Collective that's coming out of Maxtivity's program. So it's kind of career development opportunity for them, and also a way, because the museum typically showcases the open studio and isn't doing it this year, so the city council. So your first space, which is a public space, so I want the Public Art Committee to know about it, is going to be Philomath Open Studios, but we're going to be working on some other exhibits as well. Other things that are happening is that really wonderful lady Vicki Wilson down the street with Slipstream Clay and Green Heron has been pushing First Friday Art Walks, which is really connecting to the city's Fridays on 13th. Maxtivity's participating in it. We have a very robust email chain of a lot of Main Street businesses, and Nikki from the Chamber is really promoting it. And I think the big goal would be that First Fridays in Philomath are going to feel like an art night up and down Main Street. Maxtivity is going to participate. And so that's another thing that you all should be thinking about as you look at your full scale charge, and even thinking about that next section you're going to attempt later is revenue generating. But similar to the way that you all are unveiling the sculpture, the temporary exhibit, the temporary sculpture rental, I don't know how the gallery, is that what you're calling it?
Sure.
The Main Street Gallery.
Main Street Gallery.
Small Town Big Arts Gallery.
Yeah.
Trying to
Yeah, I love it.
trademark it.
Yeah.
Slow down for Timber Town, you'll hear about that later. The same way you're unveiling that with the Sip and Stroll, just thinking about the ways that Main Street businesses and others who are in the arts community can be part of your guys' efforts is awesome. Just another update of things, the type of community arts that Maxtivity does is we have a grant from the Oregon Arts Commission called Arts Build Community. And our project this year is called How We Weave Together, where we are using weaving as a practice and animating metaphor to explore how different stories and backgrounds come together to make more vibrant and resilient communities. And so we're doing community weavings, pop-ups in public places, also inside our studio with identity-based and affinity groups, like our Philomath Seniors Get Crafty, where was one of our first weaving groups. And then we're also doing community weaving experiences, like at Fulham with Pride and at the museum. And the result will be one large installation that'll be at the Corvallis Museum. It'll be here eventually as part one of the exhibits in the council room and move to other places. So as you think about your long-term plan, I would encourage, I saw a line about interactivity, that the art pieces are an interactivity with the community, and I would encourage you all to think broadly about how the process can also be an engaged interactive experience that still holds up high artistic quality, but invites the community into that creative process, which is what Maxtivity is all about. But there's lots of folks who are here in this region who share that kind of thought about community art making, but also to invite you all to think about how you can use art making as a way to listen and learn about this community, and how that might turn, help lift up other city goals. And one example is what I'm thinking about is the Fulham with 2050 visioning process. There have been really interesting themes that are coming out of that. And there's also questions specifically related to arts and culture, but just to think deeply about how, like, the city goal around tourism, if you guys do a plan around a public art commissioning, thinking about how a public art initiative you all put in might be intentionally designed to get people to stop and explore Philomath. And a public art can do that.
Yeah.
A Sasquatch scavenger hunt where you have cool little Sasquatches all over the town, and people will stop, and the families will stretch their legs and they'll look for Sasquatches, but it's a way to integrate with larger city goals. And I say that as you all are going to put your revenue generating item on hold, the next item on your plan is to think about also, like, the extent to which the city council is going to invest in our public art program is the extent to which we demonstrate on that opening page about the value of arts to community. And if this committee can be intentional about the way you do your project planning and how it supports the city goals and is listening and leaning into things that are happening here already, I think it'll benefit the budget line and also benefit the quality of the work that gets produced.
Great. Love it.
Enjoy your temporary art update. Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so much for coming, Sarah.
Thank you.
Lots to think about.
Sarah. Mhm.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't see, I'm assuming there's no one else. Is that, okay.
No one online except
Okay.
Lori.
Well, thank you very much, Sarah, for being here and for sharing all that. We really appreciate everything you guys are doing, and for being such a great partner. With that, I think we'll do a quick update on the downtown temporary art program. And then, Chelsea, should I share the other update
Yeah,
that I got? Okay, I'll do that after that.
Yeah. Okay, so I did write a little short agenda item summary. Open for input and thoughts. I'm just here to tell you where we are now so that you know where we are. I've been having a lot of communication with the artists, with the 4 pieces. Say commissioned piece, but the piece that the Valley and Spring piece that you'd asked if they could create a different piece with some different criteria. He's creating that currently, and we'll have it done in time. Sent a very general sketch, and I just said go ahead because I felt like it met what you were asking for, which wasn't. I don't think anyone here was saying we want to tell you exactly how to make your piece.
That's right.
There are some subtle suggestions that I think were met there.
Those are like great buildings and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so change the leaves. So that's exciting that he's getting that going. I've also been in communication with the other 3 artists. We have varying levels of this is going to be very easy to install at your location to this is going to be a little bit challenging, but everyone has been great. One of the artists, I won't name who it is, but has been so great, calling me saying, I want to make sure that you're hearing me on the phone, knowing that I am not trying to be difficult. And I said, absolutely not. I've worked with a lot of artists in my work with cities and before that. And so I do come into it understanding that it's not always as structured as all of the city government stuff that I do all day. But they've been great. They're all very excited. The person that is the furthest away is on the coast in Washington somewhere. And they have offered to help us with installation. So they're going to come down a few days before this event, and we're going to try to get everything installed just a few days before this event. So it won't be downtown too long. People will see it, but we're still going to have our kickoff in conjunction with the Sip and Stroll. So the chamber has put us on their poster. There's information about the art walk. I think they might have art stops. They call them art stops. And then they're also putting the art stops on their map. So they have a map that shows where you can stop and check out the vendors and the wine and beer and such stops. So they'll have those locations on that map as well, which is great. So everyone that's participating in the event is going to see that on the map. I have invited all of the artists to be there for that hour between 4 and 5 p.m. Didn't want it to be overwhelming to them if they do come and are going to be able to give their time. I feel that there's at least a couple of them that are going to come, if not all of them. So that's exciting. But other than that, that's what I have so far is working on getting the base plates and the plinths, which has actually been the most complex part of the whole thing, making sure the pieces are there by July 18th and then inviting the artists to come for that hour on the 18th. So I'm wondering if anyone
It's
has
July 18th.
July 18th.
I need to put it. Thank you.
And it will be very busy downtown. So if you're just coming for this, make sure you come ahead of time so you can get parking and get to the locations. It would be really great if there are enough of us that at least one of us could be at each piece and spread out. So if there isn't an artist there, it would be nice if there were someone there to say, this is one of the pieces and here, read the plaque. And that would be great. And also if the artist is there, it would just be nice to kind of help, provide, be a host for the artist to be there. So that's my hope. So I can reach out to you all a little bit closer, but if you want to pencil it in July 18th and you know that you will be around and could do that, that would be great. If you are not available, I may reach out to some people that know other art community people that might be able to help us fill in and have that, connection for the artists and the art pieces. But I think it's really exciting and love the idea, Lori. It was really a great idea for us to do this and in conjunction with this event. I think it'll just bring excitement that we could have just done it without the event and it would have been great too. But we're going to get out of town people, a lot of people from out of town and Corvallis and all throughout this area come for this event. So I think it's a great way for us to talk about what Philomath is doing with art and how we're kicking off having more public art in Philomath.
I'm planning on being there.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I would love to be one of the hosts at one of the presentations, but I am the person at Maxtivity for that
Right.
event. We are doing the Sip and Stroll as well, but maybe someone could cover for me for a half an hour or so. But I would love to be involved if possible.
Yeah, and same,
Yeah.
I can help out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I should be available too.
Great. So
We just walk there.
yeah, exactly. So it's pretty nice. The 4 locations, I'm not sure if I told you what was settled on, but it's the location that's kind of kitty corner here from City Hall. And then the location that's on the corner of 13th and Applegate. So as you're turning kind of Pioneers, they're their kind of yard is on the corner there, in front of the Dizzy Hen area. And then there's a plinth that's between the museum and the fire station. And actually the ascending descent piece, I think that's what it was called. That's the piece that I selected to go there because I thought it was pretty engaging because of the colors and the wood. And I thought that was kind of an engaging piece to be there between the museum and the fire station. So, but I did go down there in the fire station and I looked and made sure that that piece was not going to block them visually. I thought, you know, it would be my luck that that plinth was just in the wrong place for them. So I did it on foot and in my vehicle and we're good. So that's kind of my update on that.
Can you share which ones are going at the other place? Like which one's
Yes,
going
so
where?
I don't know if he'll have a different name for it, but the Valley and Spring replacement is going to go here, kitty corner to City Hall. The Mobilisk, the kind of stacked abstract piece is going to go on the corner by Pioneer. And
Okay.
then Mary is going to go down by Dizzy Hen and the studio there. I thought that was a nice place to put that since so local and right there. Yeah, so I think it's very exciting. Some of that was just logistically, the pieces fit in those places better. And I did talk to the artists. I sent them all their the actual, you know, like longitude, latitude. Here, you can look at it on a map. Tell me if there's any issue. So they all seem good. So it's very exciting, and I'm very proud of all of you for honestly just making this happen in such a short amount of time. It's going to be really exciting to see it come to fruition and actually
I'm
have
assuming all the
pieces.
work with the connecting roads is going to be cleared by July.
No, it's not going to be done until probably late August. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. And I know you need to jet out. Yes. Okay. I understand. I was there last night.
I also only have about 3 more minutes, so.
Okay.
Mayor, or
Yes.
Christopher, let's take your, Christopher, would you like to share your update that you have?
Yes. So I don't know who all may know Dave Alba, but he owns the building that Dizzy Hen is in. And is also just involved in other things. But he texted me earlier this week. I don't remember what day. And he was not able to be here at the meeting tonight, but he is interested in having an artist paint a mural on the Dizzy Hen building. It's a little unclear to me from his text exactly which wall he was talking about. I reread his text and I was like, okay, I'm not sure. So we'll verify that. Because he said the back wall, so I didn't know if that meant. So anyway, I'll figure that out. But the point is, he wants to have an artist potentially paint a mural on that building. And he had been specifically working, or I had started talking with a Siletz artist and wanted to have some sort of indigenous or tribal art included there. So then his request in the text to me was just around the possibility of the city or the art committee kind of, as we coincidentally hinted at earlier in the meeting, sort of helping sponsor some of that or include it in some of our potential art program. I don't have a lot of that. This is about all the detail I have. So the estimated cost he had was around probably like $2,000 or $3,000. I don't know if that's the full cost or just what he's requesting from the city. But I just wanted to bring that to you all for just to see if you're into it, which I'm assuming you would be, but I want to hear any feedback. And then B, the cost part of it, I had asked Chelsea about, because it's on 13th Street there, and the city is already doing some 13th Street improvements this summer to make it more of kind of a pedestrian-oriented gathering place with urban renewal funding. If we might be able to use some of that urban renewal funding to pay for the mural as well, because it's all kind of part of this, that it's within the urban renewal district, geographically and is kind of part of that placemaking, which is one of the items in our urban renewal plan. So with that, I'll stop talking. I don't know, Chelsea, if there's anything you wanted to add, or if we should just hear what people think.
So I think where we're at with that is if you could get more information, I think there's a timing issue. So if possible, it'd be
Okay.
great if we could bring it to the next meeting, if the
Okay.
timeline works out. Otherwise, I think you might have to just kind of, I could gather a potential like gauge from the committee myself, and you could take it directly to council and discuss it if the timing wouldn't work.
Okay.
But it would be really nice if we could look at that, even if it's something like, again, we're still working on this plan. We don't want to exclude things that come along during the plan. Sometimes things just come about and we try to, harness that. So does that sound like a plan? Do you want to try to get some more information, Christopher,
Yeah.
and get back? Okay.
Yeah, I
Right.
guess I just wanted to make sure there was interest in it before I went too far down that road.
I guess my first question is, what do we do if Dirt Road then says, I want a mural?
Well, that's kind of my thing, is that maybe we do need to like have some sort of a
Because they're expanding
thought
too. They have
process
that whole
about
big
that.
end.
And it would involve the council. Like the council may say, yes, we can say that we are okay spending this amount of money. Each piece gets this. Art committee, go talk to people and make your recommendation. That might happen. Who knows? But okay. Well, Christopher and I will continue to have a conversation offline and see if we can get some more information about it and see what
Maybe
comes of
invite
it.
them to the next meeting.
Yeah, maybe invite. Yeah. Okay. That sounds great. And I know, Lori, you said you had the debt.
Yeah, I also know that I heard something about a piano possibly. And I think this is just another part to this conversation about different businesses or nonprofits or being involved in public art. And, we can refer back to the document, like how we go about making a decision where we're gonna put our money, how our money it's going to be budgeted as different things start trickling in. And as we start really making a statement, I think we're going to start getting bombarded in a way, right? Possibly, which could be a good thing. And also a bit like, which I'm just thankful that we're kind of taking the time to put the steps into place so that when people do start approaching us about funding different pieces of art, we know how to make a decision about where we're going to put that money.
Yeah,
That's all I wanted to say.
okay.
You
My
want me to-
last.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Do you want me to talk about the piano at all, or no?
Yeah, if you want to.
Just because since I've
Our audience member is saying that they have not replied to the email.
I know, it's all good.
Maybe we'll save that for our next meeting. We can have it as like a little agenda blurb.
Okay, great. That works.
Again, let's get more info and then we'll come back. I just had one more thing to share, and then if anyone else has anything to share. Estella, you can see, is not here this evening and has had an exciting opportunity on Thursdays. It's going to be recurring for Thursdays. I know that it was really difficult for us to find this particular date to have recurring on our calendars. So Estella has said, totally understands if this is the date and it's going to hold, and expects that's the way it will go, and we'll plan to resign if we're going to hold with our Thursdays. Again, I would just say that it was very difficult for us to find this. We've moved around a couple of times. I like to try to create stability in committee, but I also don't like it when we have committee members that have to step away. But I just wanted to gauge what you all thought about that before we as staff
Pretty
just make a
flexible.
decision.
Fridays for me.
I'm 100% flexible besides Fridays.
Okay, I think Nina was one that does have a pretty packed evening schedule often, and Lori, maybe you also had something. So I think what I'll do.
I'm flexible.
Okay, so I think what I'll do is just have Crystal send out another little bit of information gathering. and see if that's something that we want to do and if we're able to do. But I do want to hold the committee together, and I don't want anyone saying, oh, I can do it, but you really can't do it half of the year. So let's try to keep our stability, and if that means that we need to keep the stability, then I think unfortunately we might have to do that. But also really happy for Estella because it was an exciting thing that we get to go do, and so that's great. But yeah, so okay, keep you posted on that.
So the next meeting will be June 20th, or?
We're gonna
wait?
keep that meeting for right now, and then I'll have Crystal reach out
Maybe.
about.
Because that's the World Bee Festival right now.
Okay, all right. What do you think, Christopher? Good?
That
Sorry.
sounds great.
When did you say the next meeting is?
It's, what is it, June 25th?
At 5:30.
Oh, I can't make it.
It's already on my calendar.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. All right.
Okay,
Thanks, everyone.
thank you. All right.
Good night. Mm.
There's no other business, then I'll adjourn this meeting at 6:51 PM and we'll see you all on June 25th. Well, unless yeah,
Probably.
we wouldn't have any event before. But yes, we'll see. Keep an eye out. Check your emails.
See ya.
Okay.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you all very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.